Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Good morning, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I never know what to say in this bit.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This morning I'm with Emily Dean and Holly Walsh. Elvis.
Two little girls.
Yeah, what a night that was. So anyway, you can text us on 81215 if you've got anything at all to say about anything, as long as it's proper and not smutty. And you can follow us on Twitter, using @Frank on Absolute.
Beautifully done. Frank's getting into Twitter now.
Oh, yeah, I've become a bit of a Twitterati-ismist. Yeah. Holly, you tweet, don't you? You tweet like there's no tomorrow.
I tweet like it's out of fashion.
Yeah, I tweet like there's no Tamara Beckwith.
Is that your name is @Tamara Beckwith too?
Yeah. I'm the phony Tamara Beckwith. In fact, I've been tweeting for years on her. I wonder how many people listening to this know Tamara Beckwith is. What would you say as a percentage?
Well, there's 4 of my friends for a start.
Okay. Is she still alive?
Oh, yeah, she's still active.
She's still practising.
Yeah.
Okay. She was one of the It girls, wasn't she?
She was an original It girl, yeah.
Yeah. I miss her.
Were you ever an It man?
I was a hitman once in Los Angeles in the 1970s. I had to kill a businessman, Feinstein. Leo Feinstein, he was called. And there'd been some sort of dalliance with this bloke's wife. And I had to take him out. I was in a cafe, he went into a toilet, I went in after him and took the back of his head off. And I put the gun down the tile because I thought the police won't touch it now because it's got wee on it. And it worked.
Extraordinary anecdote.
Anyway, that's the first anecdote of the morning out the way.
I really hope that's true, just the way you've confessed so openly about it.
Actually, maybe I shouldn't have said it on the radio. Come to think of it.
He's styling it out.
Yeah, it's done now. So, apparently, it's still the Olympics.
Yeah, but I'm a bit jealous of you.
Yeah, I went. I finally went.
You've got to actually go. He's been, Holly.
How do you get these opportunities?
Well, it's like this. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm a celebrity, that makes life easier. I'm a celebrity, and that makes life good.
I bet you sing that at them when they're trying to tell you can't get tickets.
he shouts it out of his window at home.
It's the accompanying dance that always wins them over.
So what was it like?
It's that jumping up to the side and clicking their heels on the word celebrity.
Also, the fact you used to be a hitman, that also helps.
I never mention that in interviews. No, I don't know how that's cropped up this morning.
Frank, what was it like?
It was it was splendid. One thing for a start off is it was lovely and cosy in the stadium.
It wasn't just any old event, we should say.
No, but I think it was cosy because there was like a big cauldron of flame in the corner. I'm starting to think every stadium should have one of those. It was like the world's pilot light.
Lovely open fire.
Sitting next to that, yeah, it's beautiful. I watched that all night.
You were wasted not being at the opening ceremony. Here comes the world's pilot light, lit by 7 young athletes.
I just sat and watched the flame all night like an old age pensioner at a fireside. Getting me legs a bit blotchy, and they sit too close. Yeah, so that was... I went on Sunday, which was the night of the men's 100 metres.
Oh, there you go. That's quite an
glory
event. That's
hunter.
a glamour event, isn't it?
Because I can't take 10 seconds of anything. So I thought I need entertaining things under 10 seconds. So I went to that.
I think it should have been done by like with football, where you have to sort of, if you do loads of away games and really turn up, then you get to go to the good games.
Yeah.
Like you should have had to sit through, men's qualifiers for table tennis to win that point.
Well. Yeah, but you're forgetting that I'm a celebrity. I can't remember how the song went now because I just made it up, obviously. But
Frank, did you get to go in the lane?
I did go in the lane.
He went in the Olympic lane.
I mean, that was...
What was it like? Oh, lovely. Is it like the Yellow Brick Road? Just one long lane?
Each of the rings, I didn't know, plays a different note when you drive over it. So you're going to Yeah, what's that dun? Yeah, I've heard that a lot now. That dun 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 dun.
Well, that's Vangelis.
Yeah.
Are you getting bored of it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a very good version they play either.
Oh dear.
You like the panpipe version?
Yeah, that's brilliant. The panpipe. In the Peruvian games, I don't know if you remember that. The panpipe version was absolutely fabulous.
The panpipes were actually in the shape of the 5 circles as well.
If they were, they could be adjusted to do that, so that when you look down them, there was the Olympic thing. I mean, to limit your range a bit, but it would mean that you could use it on an ink pad and do little Olympic symbol print-offs. Yeah.
That would be against LOCOG regulations.
Oh, yeah, actually, you'd be in trouble if you did that. Peru would be closed down. There'd be some sort of a poncho ban.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. I'm so gel of you.
It's well gel, that's what people say now.
Did they? I didn't know that.
Well gel.
Oh, I only say that when people have got really hard, spiky hair. You know, when you see people like and they've obviously got to the end of the gel jar and thought, well, I might as well use all this up. There isn't another full hair thing in it, so they put a bit of extra in, and it's like rock.
It is people on Towie that say that, and they do have hair like that. So well done, you.
Oh, okay.
So meanwhile,
I've seen Towie.
Oh, trackside.
Yeah, so there was many. I was there for the men's 100 metres. Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, and Tyson Gay, of course, a man whose name covers the full gamut of masculinity. But it was exciting. It was very short, I have to say.
It's very short.
It's over in a
But Frank, can I just say, why do they do? It is a bit ridiculous. Those kind of pre-race. It's almost like getting into character, aren't they? So Bolt does the lightning bolt. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Is that what that thing is that he
that
does?
What it is?
It's a bow and arrow, but then he does a lightning bolt as well.
Is it a bow and arrow?
Yeah, but there's a lightning bolt action.
Well,
Wait,
that
if
from
it's
Robbie
his-
Keane.
Yeah, well, what? Yes. But that's a celebratory thing.
I thought it was just somebody pointing and then...
No, it's a lightning bolt, love.
And then more subtly pointing with the other hand.
No, there's method in this madness.
Publicly, they're pointing with one hand, but they're also sneaking in a second and pointing. I can't see any lightning bolt imagery in that at all.
No, it is a bolt. The other one, the Beast, I hated his. He does like he contorts his whole body.
It used to be just Usain that did those things, and everyone's copied him now and tried to come up with their own stupid things. It's like post-goal celebrations.
Yeah. What would you do if you were an athlete and they came to you in the camera?
I think I'd do. You know the sort of heavy metal rock thing with the fingers.
Oh, the Metallica thing.
I'd do that, but hold it on my head like I was a charging bull. And I might drag one foot on the floor in a sort. You know when bulls get very angry. I don't know if they do it. They do it. They certainly do it in cartoons. That's what I do. What would you do, Holly? What would your symbol be as the camera fell on you?
I'd do a bit of dribble coming out of one side of my mouth.
Yeah, and would it always be the same side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You see, I'd use one side for the 100 metres and the other side for the 200.
No, you do just one for 100, both.
And for the Commonwealth Games, I'd chew tobacco, so it was. Yeah. Anyway, so what would you do?
I'd blow a kiss, of course, and I might wink as well, make it a bit fashion. I might then strut a bit as well.
Come to think of
like it was a catwalk, and then I'd do the race, full stop, but it would be worth it.
Oh, I wouldn't do the race. Looked exhausted. I remember Steve Ovett way back in the 80s. He used to do an I love you symbol. So actually, Usain Bolt didn't start it. He used to mime ILY.
He did.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He was a strange-looking character. Still, can't have everything in life.
You see, Frank, I think that 100 metres, I think looks quite easy, though. I think I could do that.
Well, it's the easiest of the
but I
events.
could do that. Out of all of them, I think I could actually do that quite easily.
I could do it. I wouldn't do it very quickly, but it's not like the pole vault where I think I could do that for a month and never, ever, ever get over that bar.
You know, one thing about pole vault, how do they... You never see them putting the bar back up. How do they do that?
That's a good question.
And it always broke. Oh, it broke the other day, didn't it?
I bet
That was
there's a
embarrassing.
remote control helicopter.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, the reason I say that is because I didn't know this, but the night I was on, the men's hammer was on. And it's never occurred to me, how do they get the hammers back to the throwers?
How do they?
I thought a judge would walk in and say, and if it comes over here again, I'll put a knife through it. Like when our football used to go over next door. But in fact, there was little remote control mini cars, tiny little mini cars, and they pick up the car comes up to the
like K9.
yeah, exactly. And the judge puts the hammer in the top of the mini car, and then it goes back to the hammer thrower.
So sort of like what you get in bowling rinks, bowling alleys.
Nothing like that at all, unless you go in bowling alleys where there's remote control mini cars carrying the balls.
Think of
back
like
in.
Yo Sushi.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
It's true. I'm not making it up. You're looking at me like I'm making it up.
No, I'm not looking
It was
at you
very
like that.
London as well, because it was a mini, which is I like that. I like the way they themed it. Like in Brazil, apparently, in front of the hammer net, they're just going to have a very short runway of grass, and the rest of the thing's going to be shaved completely. It's all about symbolism.
They're not going for the Hollywood then.
I went with my mate Dan, who told me a fabulous story, because the women's triple jump was happening in front of us as well, and he's on about when he triple jumped at school. They hadn't got anyone to the triple jump. They hadn't practiced it or anything. And the teacher said, well, I need someone for the hop, step and jump, as it was called in those days. And he said, well, I'll do it. And he practiced it a bit on his own. And so he went to the thing, and when he did the hop, step and the jump, he didn't reach the sandpit. That's quite bad, isn't it? What do you do then? You're left sort of just on the gravel.
I mean, technically you haven't done the jump yet.
Well, you've done it. There's nothing to say it has to end up in the sandpit. That's just something that tends to happen when you do it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So you went to the Olympics, Holly?
I went twice, yeah.
What did you see?
I saw table tennis quarterfinals and then table tennis group finals.
So it's very
Table tennis
ping pong
heavy.
oriented.
Yeah, I was so into it. It was incredible.
Are you a table tennis enthusiast? Or
I
is that
am.
what you got in the tombola?
I'm big. No, I'm a big table tennis fan.
Are you really?
Yeah, and now I've I've gone all the way now to the finals. So that makes me one of the best fans ever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I qualified for the finals.
How is it as a spectator sport? It's quite a small ball.
It is a small ball. That's one of the main.
What do they wear? Do they wear little shorts and things?
No, they wear
polo shirts.
They wear crushed velvet pantaloons.
Lovely. Now I will go.
It's a sort of cavalier look they wear. The big
with the hat. I mean,
elaborate
the
hats.
sort of feathers do get in the way a bit. But
On those very high serves.
I saw a man get a yellow card during a table tennis match.
What was for that? What did he do?
This Danish
Did
player.
he take his shirt off after a point?
He got a bit angry and he sort of picked up the ball and like lobbed it across the pitch or whatever it's called
You're a table tennis enthusiast. You were telling me.
Yeah.
I think they call it the table. I'm guessing
Yeah, but what's the area around the table?
the floor.
He lobbed it across the floor, and then
he sounds
the
like a-
umpire gave him a yellow card.
Quite right. I got no time for him.
No.
I mean, there might be people. I'm thinking that was a bit harsh. Not Frank.
When you go and watch a sport where there are no British players, so that we haven't got like a Team GB, how
Yeah.
do you decide which team to support?
Well, I'm not a very good neutral, and I often think, oh, what I'll do is I'll just wait and let the game progress, and it'll come to me.
Right.
But sometimes it doesn't. And if I watch anything, I mean, even in the Olympics, I'm quite partisan. The night I went, even though I saw the 100 metres final and saw Christine Oguru win silver, the fact that we didn't get a gold made me feel like I'd had a completely wasted evening.
Oh, I consider
That's
it
the
a total
meanest thing.
failure. I won't silver. Forget it. Out. I won't tolerate silver. I'm sorry. It's gold only.
Didn't the Lone Ranger say that? I won't have him in the house.
Yeah, it's gold only now.
Are you kidding me? That's
No, I'm not kidding you.
That's the hardest
The bar
thing.
has been raised very high by these Olympics.
Especially in the pole vault.
How they get it up there, I do not know.
No, I told you, it's the remote the mini. Maybe it's like a chitty chitty bang bang remote control car. Or two of them that take the bar up. I imagine what happens is that the whole thing comes down and then they put it on and then it goes back up again. Because they must do it, because, I mean, I think it's the limbo on Sunday morning. Women's limbo, I think it is. I think the men's limbo was earlier in the week. Could be, anything could be in the Olympics, let's face it.
BMXs today.
Did you see that thing where when we went the night that Mo Farah got the gold and
Oh,
Jessica
wasn't that great?
and Greg Thing got the long jump and all that?
The thruple.
Was it the triple? No, it was a long jump he got, wasn't it?
No, I just meant there was three of them. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
thruple.
And And the commentator said, this is a completely new era for British sport. British sport will never be the same again. And then they went over to the football and we lost the penalty shoot. So absolute. And not only that, but Daniel Sturridge, who missed the penalty that lost us the shootout, as he walked off, the coach went and put his arm around him and he shoved him off in a real petulant way. And I thought, oh yeah, of course that's what sport is normally like.
But we don't count Olympic football anyway. Frank
No.
and I don't count Olympic tennis or football. It's not real. It's not real.
My highlight of the week was when the boxer, the woman boxer who got gold.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see her? They said, how did it feel getting gold? She said, it made my day.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We have some texts in about Skippy the kangaroo.
Yeah, well, you know, to me it's quality, not quantity.
Must remember that. Dan Pearce says, Skippy the bush kangaroo seemed to spot trouble when finding food. Hardly a detective, more an unfortunate forager.
It's absolutely true.
Rather good description, I think.
I mean, you've decided he was a detective.
Yeah.
I'd say
Why did I decide that?
he was no more than a keen amateur. He had no sort of role.
Yeah.
Don't anyone listen to this think he had any sort of official place in the police department.
No. Although he did, yeah. It was like when Elvis decided he wanted the badges.
Yeah.
But,
Do
you
you
know,
think
he
it
had
was
no
like
right
that?
to those badges.
Well, my favourite Elvis Presley picture ever
Yeah.
is him.
Were they FBI
at the scene-
badges he
he's-
wanted?
He's at the scene of a car crash. And it's Elvis in a full-length leather jacket and shades in the middle of the night with a massive torch walking around this wreckage. Just because he got the police badge that he could turn up.
He loved those badges.
But imagine, you're being cut out your car, there's the hiss of oxyacetylene, and there's Elvis Presley in shades at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But he has an amazing sideburns, like Wiggo.
Well, not anymore, he doesn't.
No.
Maybe he does.
He's passed.
Yeah.
He hasn't.
I wish I could. See, I couldn't grow Bradley Wiggins sideburns.
Why not?
Mine have holes in them. They do. I can't grow a sturdy
Well, I would
sideburn.
argue Bradley Wiggins' sideburns, they're very wiry.
Yeah, but mine they've got patches, bare patches in. Mine look like the Fields.
Are yours a bit crop circles? I
Yeah.
know that look.
Fjords.
Yeah.
The fjords.
You know the Fields? It's a 1960s TV show about a Norwegian family who made cars. So, yeah, you know, it's in little tiny islands.
Have you ever thought about sticking sideburns or a moustache on your child? Because that is hilarious.
Well, I hadn't, but I'll write that down.
If you get a young baby and you give it a stick-on moustache or sideburns, it's such an entertaining way of spending an afternoon.
Okay.
And humiliating them when they're older.
I might try that. Perhaps I could get a small bicycle and recreate Bradley Wiggins' glorious victory. That would be fabulous. And then I can get him in some mod outfits.
Yeah.
Bradley relaxes. I could do a whole picture book of Bradley Wiggins 11 weeks old. Hold on, I'm going to write that down as well.
I'm not really a fan of the sideburn, Holly, I have to say.
Just one sideburn. I'm talking about
No,
sideburns.
I'm talking about it in a fashion sense. So
Okay.
you say a jean, you use the singular.
Ah.
A shoe,
No,
a
but-
jean, a sideburn.
But a sideburn suggests just one, and I wouldn't say that was a good look.
Well, I'll tell you, you
No,
say
that means two.
But now I'm thinking,
Trust me.
I wouldn't mind. I've never seen anybody with just one. Wouldn't
Oh,
that
I
be quite
have.
good? Have you?
That was quite an 80s thing.
Was
a
it?
bit baroque, yes.
Is it so they can do
Bit
those?
Tony Hadley.
So they can do both parts in a conversation, in a comedy conversation. So I saw Elvis the other day. I was out. I bumped into Elvis, and he said, and then you turn around and go, "Hi, how you doing?" Yeah. Why? Did you see that man? Who was that American sportsman with the monobrow?
Oh, yes, I've seen
Anthony
him.
Davis.
What's
Yes.
his name?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, and he's got an incredible monobrow. I mean, so completely solid,
Yeah.
no gaps, doesn't even thin out above the nose, and he is. He wants to officially trademark it.
He wants to copyright it, yeah.
But he calls it a unibrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, it's.
I would always go with
American English.
mono.
I like that he said he wants to copyright phrases associated with it, like raise the brow.
Is that?
I've never used that phrase,
No.
raise the brow.
I think you should copyright hear me brow.
Oh,
Hear me
that's
brow. Like hear me now.
very. Yeah. Well, I'll write to him.
Or brow or never.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will. Let's write a big letter to him.
Yes.
I just think I see people like him in the papers and Bradley Wiggins. I imagine the Mexican Wolf boys reading it and thinking, amateurs. These amateurs, they don't know anything about facial hair. I'm just looking at a picture of his monobrow. I mean, it is.
It's quite something.
In case you don't know him, and I didn't know he was before, if you imagine if you had a scrapbook on a table and you took your eyes down to the table surface level and looked up at one end of the scrapbook, lying open. Are you with me?
Yes, that's a good description.
That's what his monobrow looks like. Do people still have scrapbooks?
Yeah, I bought a scrapbook this week.
You kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
For what purpose?
For a 7-year-old.
Ah. And what... Will they theme it?
Yeah, they're doing a scrapbook about their holidays.
How do you do that?
They're making
That's a photo
scrapbook.
album you're thinking of.
That's
no.
Pinterest.
No, I'm thinking of a scrapbook.
Well, what'll be in it other than photographs? Sand?
Drawings, they sticking in, like, things they've been to. And
No, you're right, Holly, because I had one of those, and I put, like, for example, we went to McDonald's and I stuck a straw in.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get
I
a
did.
ticket to the cinema and they'll stick that in,
Yes.
and then they'll write about their trip to the cinema. And
Oh, lovely.
Well, if James Coburn buys you a present, you'll stick a photograph of that in.
What would worry me... Yes.
That's what I did.
What would worry me about that is that if it's on one holiday, you're probably not going to fill the scrapbook. And if there's one thing I hate, it's waste. There's going to be all those black pages. Was it black pages?
yeah,
Yeah. All that is still going to be there. Anyway, you should check out Anthony Davis's monobrow. His eyebrows are so thick, if he went to an auction at Christie's and bid it for something with, the raise of an eyebrow, I think the auctioneer would say, all right, I heard you the first time.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Holly Walsh. You can text us on 81215 or follow us on Twitter using @Frank on Absolute. See, what I did there is one of those things when they talk over like a music thing.
Yeah, I saw that over a bed.
Yeah,
I love talking over a bed. I always do that.
I've shook hands over a bed before now. Just like the opening of Minder when they shake hands across the bonnet.
Frank, they can also email us, which they sometimes do midweek.
Yeah,
And-
don't ask me what that address is.
No. But Ash has emailed in. He's been dreaming of you, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
I call
someone
it-
else was... I can't remember what they dreamt, but someone last week had dreamt of me.
They were stroking your hair in a pub, and it
Did
was
I?
very soft.
Did I tell you I dreamt that I pretended to be a member of Snow Patrol to get into some...
You didn't.
Yeah.
That's like when I pretended I was dating the manager of Suede, except I really did that.
Yeah.
was it a dream?
What?
Your time dating the manager of Suede.
No, I didn't really.
Oh, right.
I lied and said I was to make an ex-boyfriend
Oh, I
jealous.
see. I thought you were just name dropping.
No.
So this dream.
Okay, so this dream. So this is Ash. I call this the I Dream of Frank Club. He says, he's downloaded all the old podcasts from the website. He's a bit old school.
Oh.
And he says, and I'm constantly listening to the show. Consequently, I'm now even dreaming of you, Frank.
Oh.
Frank, I dreamt you were bankrolling a Roman Catholic charity, which exhumed the reburied bodies of Roman Catholics who'd been buried in Anglican or Protestant cemeteries into Catholic cemeteries.
Well, I don't want anyone to miss out on heaven because they're in the wrong queue.
I love the idea that you've given money to this charity.
To dig up Catholics that aren't in... it's a brilliant... I think me and Ash should go on Dragon's Den with this idea. We'll see if we can get some backing. Yeah, what we want to do is we want to dig up Catholics who are buried in non-Catholic ground. What do you think? What's in this for me? We can get 2,000 days off purgatory. Okay. I think it could work.
How do you find them? Do you just get Skippy on the case? You have to go around looking...
There'll be a website, wouldn't there?
website.
Wronglyplacedcatholics.com.
Oh, I love your new business, Frank.
Yeah, buried in Anglican cemeteries.
Anglican hell. My Anglican
as we
hell.
call them, unhallowed ground. No, well, that isn't true, but I love the idea of it. And if there is such a charity, why don't you call me?
Yeah.
You could do sort of daytime TV adverts. You know,
just
like-
me with a shovel, marching jauntily along.
Send money for this.
Instead of the pen, that's what you could have, the shovel.
Yeah.
Frank, we've also had a lot of IEM emails in.
Yes, no, I know I explain this every week, but for new listeners, an IEM is an idiotic eureka moment, and it's when you realise something that you should have realised years ago, like a joke or something like that, and you think, oh, hold on a minute. And the example I often use is sooty and sweeper as a sort of pun on the chimney sweep business.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know, I hadn't noticed
I
that.
think you two have collectively had one today, not realising that Usain Bolt was doing a lightning bolt.
I'm still
No,
not
I don't think that was
convinced.
clear.
I
Well,
still don't think that's...
Yeah,
what
I
do you
don't
want to be
know
more
too.
clear than the fact that he was doing a lightning
Well,
bolt
he
and
could
his
have
name
said-
is Bolt?
He should have made
He says.
I think he could have been doing Saddam Hussein impression. Because
Well,
his
you
name
both
is
had
Hussein.
one without realising it.
Well.
And Warren Hughes has had an Olympic-based one as well. He says, "Hi Frank, I've just had an IEM whilst watching the Olympics. I only just realised that the logo for the London Games are the numbers 2012. I thought it was just some splodges that some art student thought looked cool.
Well,
God bless you all."
That's fair enough, I think, because, as you know, like most people, I detest the logo.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, come off it.
Oh, come off it.
Worst
I love
jigsaw ever. That's what it looks like. It's terrible. I think that people even say, "Oh, I'm loving the Olympics," apart from the logo, obviously. I mean, it's like "What's up?" It's become a catchphrase. It's the one thing that's took the shine off the Olympics.
I disagree. I think he's done a great job. When you walk around, it really works. It's really functional as a piece of design. I think it's great.
I don't think anyone on this show has ever been more wrong about anything. And David Essex used the word Chinaman. But I still think
Don't
not as
mention
wrong.
David Essex.
Oh, sorry,
I told you.
Still not as wrong as you are about this.
Listen, it's about
You know, they were
it's
paying-
subjective.
Was it 400,000 the agency were paid for that logo?
Were they?
Yep.
That's
Wolf
cheap.
Collins. They don't come cheap.
That's awful.
I had a eureka moment recently, but that was more down to a childhood lie.
Okay.
Well, my dad used to tell me, you know those long, tall chimneys next to hospitals?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
when I was very small, he couldn't obviously tell me they were incinerators, so he
No.
told me that they were a giant airing cupboard, and that the nurses would take the warm sheets out of the bottom, and then they'd take the cold ones to the top, and then they'd all go down, and so you always take the warm ones out the bottom.
So
and-
why smoke?
Huh? Well, I didn't know that. I thought there was just steam from the sheets coming off.
What black flesh and bone smoke?
I didn't know that.
Well, that's just a
Yeah,
lie.
but I was- yeah,
That's
but the
not
thing
an
is,
idiotic eureka
I was
moment.
29 when somebody said, "Oh, look at that incinerator," and I was like, "No, that's an airing cupboard."
Oh, you're still at it.
And they went, "No, that's an incinerator."
I think I had one this week, because I could be wrong about this, but Boy's Own, is that a pun on Boy's Own, as in the Boy's Own, comics?
I see.
Yeah,
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Possibly.
Did you know that before?
No.
Yeah, I think I sort of thought about that. Yeah.
Oh, you think you'd sort of thought about it. Your witness.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've got some more idiotic eureka moments, Frank.
Yes.
We've got Eleanor in Melbourne. We have a lot of Australian listeners.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, fans of Skippy.
I'm glad they haven't got all sulky about their performance in the Olympics and contacting us.
Why have they gone so rubbish? They used to be quite good, didn't they?
That nasty fouling cyclist woman who upset the
Oh, yeah.
Victoria Pendleton farewell race with her elbows.
No one puts baby in the corner.
Well, she nearly put her in the crowd.
G'day, Frank.
Oh, I like they're sticking with it.
Speaking of idiotic eureka moments, and we were,
Yeah.
I only just got the fact that the band Bros are called that because it's short for brothers. It's taken me almost 3 decades to get it, and it's hardly subtle, is it? Yours foolishly, Eleanor in Melbourne.
And guess what? The Nolan sisters. Well, I mean, it was always a bit dodgy, though, Bros, because when they...
Oh, certainly a bit dodgy.
No, but in their golden years, Craig Logan was in the band.
Ken.
Was it?
No, they called him Ken
Oh,
as a
okay.
joke, because they said Viz called him Ken, the ugly one that no one fancies, which is
Oh.
very mean.
But he wasn't one of the brothers. But he was on.
No, that's true.
He was under the umbrella term Bros.
Yeah?
Is that fair?
No, I mean unless they'd sort of adopted him.
I don't think they did. I don't think there's any paperwork.
Oh. I had a confusing.
Can I say that he went on to manage Pink? Did you know that?
Yes, that's
I
right,
I
Frank.
don't mean he got a 1-4-0 break. I mean he managed. He was her manager.
Who did?
Yeah.
Who was the only one to make any money? Let
Is
that
that
be a
right?
lesson to you all, yeah.
What, out of Bros or from Pink? Pink must have made a few.
No,
bob.
he made the money from Bros.
You could tell Pink's made so much money she's perpetually embarrassed. Hence her nickname. Sorry, you were saying, Holly.
Well, I was thinking about idiotic eureka moments, and then I was trying to work out. You know, am I being stupid? You know, when people say he's the bee's knees, is that like a sort of derivation of business? Like he's the business, he's the bee's knees.
He's the bee's knee.
Oh, maybe it is.
Like someone from Tunisia or something saying business. Perhaps.
Yeah, someone from Tunisia or something. Yeah, exactly
It's got
like
a
that.
really Tunisian vibe about it. Bee's knees.
Maybe that's
And he had
exactly
it on
what it
bee's
is.
knees.
He's
Is
the
it?
Yeah,
He's the bee's knees.
He could be on a bee's knees trip.
Bee's knees and plegie.
Maybe you're right. Someone will know. Our
they'll
listeners
know.
know everything.
Don't know.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we're not done with these IEMs.
They are like the tide. Sometimes they ebb, but mainly they flow.
Someone's just texted in a man called John to say that bees' knees are considered the best because they are where they store pollen to carry back to the hive to make honey.
They keep
They
it
store the pollen in their knees.
in
Yeah.
their knees. Or do they
Yeah.
hold it like in the
that-
fold at the back?
I don't think that's a good idea. It's a bit Madonna on tour
I
with
thought
those
they had,
knee
like,
pads.
don't they have special pollen bags? Bees
Banks.
bags.
I like bum bags.
Yeah, they wear
A
like
bee bum bag.
I would love a bee with a little rucksack as well. Lovely.
a that's what they call them, bumblebees, because they get a bomb bill at the end of the month for their bag costs.
Frank, Anon has been in touch.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't heard from Anon for some time.
Well, a non was in touch about their Catholic charity. Oh, no, it was a non. Carry on.
Anon says, and you won't be surprised to hear why they're Anon when you hear this IEM. On watching the women's cycling team pursuit medal ceremony, when the camera panned to Paul McCartney and his daughter during Hey Jude, I only then realised Stella McCartney is the said daughter.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive, Anon.
That's a good one to not know. And apparently named her Stella McCartney because it sounds like a compliment about him.
Oh.
Stella McCartney. His other two kids are called Raking It In and Very Successful. Yeah. No, I thought everyone knew that. People say my girlfriend looks like Stella McCartney. And she gets very, very furious.
I would love to know.
So would I.
I'd like to look like
She's
Paul
hot.
McCartney. Oh, I do. I did an interview for the BBC the other night on this balcony, and they started singing "Hey Jude" when I went on. And I do think that some people thought that. I think they saw the wind catch my throat and assumed it was
Frank,
Paul.
I know you don't like Twitter, but do you realise you were trending on Twitter? You were right at the top as a direct result.
Was what?
As a result of
Trending,
that,
what does-
you were trending. That means you were a hot topic. Everyone was talking about you.
It was a quiet night, Sunday. That's
Well, it wasn't like anything else was going on, e.g. the 100-metre final.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was more talked about than Usain Bolt.
Yes.
And his inverted commas lightning
I'm afraid
bolt.
I've just looked it up, and you two are going to be very embarrassed in a minute. In fact, can our listeners please text in? Does Usain Bolt, is that a reference to a lightning bolt? Please text in.
I'm not saying...
No, let's keep it open.
If it is, I think he needs to rethink his...
I think he needs to go...
That's what he needs to do. What he needs to do is get one of those Harry Potter scarves.
Also get a wand. Maybe that's how they get the bars back on the top of the high
What,
jump.
magic? Don't
Yeah.
be ridiculous.
No, we know how they get them. Someone's texted in. We'll be talking about that shortly.
There is no magic. I know I used to work in the Magic Bee's knees.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Did you read this story this week about a Norwegian tourist who fell asleep on an airport baggage belt?
I did read it.
It was incredible.
They drink a lot, the Scandinavians.
Well, he only had one beer.
He get out of it. There isn't a Scandinavian existed that only ever had one beer. I don't know if it's the long dark nights, but they're a very mournful race. If the Scandinavians are a race,
I like to think he was just accessorising with a can of beer. That's what he was carrying through with him.
I'll tell you. I mean, ABBA. Didn't you think ABBA always look a bit troubled? I know they had their internal disputes, but they always, even in the golden days, they weren't happy.
Well, this guy fell asleep.
Ulrika. Desolate. Even Sandy Toksvig smiling through the tears. I think you'll agree.
Ingmar Bergman.
He was gloomy.
Roald Dahl.
No thanks, I've just put one out. So, you were saying...
This guy fell asleep on a baggage belt, and he was on it for 15 minutes, and he went through X-ray and everything until they realised that he'd fallen asleep on a luggage conveyor belt.
I saw one of the drugs dogs go on the conveyor belt once. You know the drugs dogs they
love a German Shepherd.
And he was in and out. He was bopping in and out. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in my life. Because you know how dogs often look very busy. The dog will go in the garden and it doesn't just go into the garden and think, what's I don't know. It races over. I've just got to have a look at this hedge. Talk amongst yourselves a bit. Yeah, okay. I just check the edge of the lawn out. Look, they're really busy, just domestic dogs. So this was a proper working dog who had work to do.
They've got a job.
He went through the busy ceiling. He looked so absolutely rushed off his feet.
It was the bee's knees.
He was working at his bee's knees.
Yeah.
So what, he was looking for drugs in people's bags and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't they just stop the conveyor belt and let him look without him having to go through the conveyor belt?
Well, he was happy on the conveyor belt.
Like sushi.
Yeah. I don't know that many dogs.
Have you ever accidentally fallen asleep on a moving
on a dog on a drugs dog? Oh, they must love it when people put drugs up their bottoms.
Thanks.
Because they're combining work and pleasure in one.
Well, they're not the only ones. They are the only ones.
So, have I ever fell asleep on a conveyor belt?
Yeah.
No, is the answer to that.
Have you ever fell asleep on anything moving?
Well, bosses, I've slept on many. I mean, I used to drink a lot and I used to sleep all over terrible places. I slept at Barbarella's nightclub. I slept through Generation X on 2 consecutive nights. I went home in between.
Barbarella's? Is that in Broad Street?
It was in Hurst Street, I think. I could be wrong. And, so I slept... Remember Generation X, Billy Idol's band?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I watched the first track on the Friday night, and then I blacked out, and I was woken up by a big bouncer man and someone with a mop. And then
That's never a good sign, is it?
And I thought, it's okay, I'll see him again tomorrow night. I did exactly the same thing.
Well, you only got to the first song?
Yeah. I bet they were
That's the
brilliant.
worst heckle you could ever have.
It is,
A man who passed out twice during 2 different concerts.
I hope I didn't snore, because that would have seemed disrespectful.
I recently fell asleep in a pub.
Oh, holy.
This is really... Basically, I had a lot
Can I say, when I did this at Barbarella's, I remember when I woke... You know when you're so drunk, you get very, very over-polite to take off. And I remember saying to the bouncer as I left, thank you for your patience. Oh, pathetic. So were you very drunk indeed?
No, I was totally sober. It was a Sunday. You know, not long ago.
You don't strike me as a drunkard.
No, I'm not a drunkard. I'm a good fun, but I'm not a drunkard.
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
So I went into a pub in London Bridge, and I thought, I'll just sit here for 10 minutes. I won't buy a drink, because I'm just going to sit here for 10 minutes.
No, you're kidding me. You didn't buy a drink?
No, because I thought, I'm literally using the sofa. That's all I'm here for.
It's not a park.
Who does that? Who goes into a pub and just sits?
I mean, even a public latrine is £1 these days.
Did they think you were very,
It's
very
30p.
indecisive purchaser of drink?
No, you know how you do that? You know when you need the loo and you go into a pub, but you sort of style it out like you're looking for your friend everywhere,
No,
and then you just go into the loo and then just...
Holly, can I tell you exactly what I do? I clutch my stomach, I go into Starbucks. I lie.
Oh.
What do you mean?
Well, if I'm clutching my stomach, what might they think?
You're hungry?
No. They might think you're pregnant.
If you go into Starbucks clutching your stomach, my first thought would be they want a big chocolate coin. That's why they're in here. So well done. So you're asleep then?
So I just thought I'll sit down for 10 minutes, just have a little you know, just a sit down. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Because I've got to the age now where I need a sit down.
Well, yeah, we all do. That's why they put armchairs in
Oh,
hotel
yeah.
corridors.
Exactly. Anyway, I got woken up about an hour later by a woman, the bar milady, who asked me to move on.
Did you say the barman lady?
Bar milady.
She asked you to move. Did she actually say
She
move
said,
on?
I'm going to have to move you on. She didn't say, could you leave?
She's a former member of the constabulary. Maybe a special.
She didn't say you're going to have to leave or go home. She said, I'm going to have to move you on. Like I had nowhere to go, and this was just...
Was she a bit formal?
She was brusque.
But you must have been a bit worried, because if you had a gig and your plan was to stop for 10 minutes and you stopped for an hour, weren't you...
Well, no, because it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. I still had a good hour to get to the gig.
Okay.
That's not... Being moved on is not good. It's getting a bit hobo.
I know, I think she mistook me for somebody who was just kind of, you know how...
Are you the
just-
littlest hobo? I'm just throwing that in, because if you don't know Skip is, she ain't going to know the littlest hobo, I'm guessing.
That's true.
Who?
Exactly. What would have been great if you'd done the song, then?
Come tomorrow. Na, 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 na.
Ah, she knew all the time, you rascal.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we got an email from a man called Duncan.
Oh, no.
It's not Bannatyne again.
It's not, I don't think so, because he's 23. And I don't think Duncan Bannatyne's 23, but he says he needs your advice. He's got a dramatically receding hairline, and he doesn't know what to do. He's thinking of shaving it completely, but then he'd end up looking like someone who owns a devil dog and wears an England shirt.
Yes, don't shave it.
Can I get your opinion on this, especially a woman's perspective? He's asking you for a woman's perspective.
Well, luckily, I have
You've got two ladies.
an index card file of women's perspectives on all things. Let me just look up. Hold on a minute. Receding. Oh, you're going to be single forever.
Oh, that's mean.
That is tough.
Well, that's not true, though.
Didn't
because-
hold William back.
Yeah, Prince William has got thinning locks.
Yeah, you know, but he's got one or two other things going for him.
What?
How do you know
wife?
Duncan? How do you know Duncan hasn't?
Well, I bet he's not a prince. Are you familiar with Prince Duncan?
No, I'm not actually.
I know, I'm sure but please don't shave it, Duncan. 'Cause if I went bald, I would definitely go for the sort of Nick Robinson, the BBC political correspondent.
No.
I like the thick,
No.
leave it long at the back, so you can say, yes, this is what the rest of it should look like. But it doesn't, okay? Get over it. The shaving thing,
No.
is the idea that we're going to look at someone and say, oh, that bloke shaved his head. I bet he got a completely full head of hair, but he's just shaved it off out of choice. Forget about it.
No, Frank, I say go llama. Go llama now. Dalai, that is.
Oh, okay.
And then if you do that, he's got a small window of opportunity, because this guy's 23.
Well, the Dalai Lama's got an endless window of opportunity, so he can try
It's
another
never
hairstyle
ending.
when he
This
comes
is true.
back.
He has a number of lifetimes.
Yeah.
However, at 23, he has a small window. People will think it's choice, not desperation, if he does it now.
Do you think the llama's like that? Do you think the llama looks in the air and thinks, I might grow my hair a bit at the... Oh, no. I'll do it next time.
He probably thinks, maybe I'll get those Wiggins-style sideburns. Just the two of them and a bald head.
Yeah. But then he thinks, no, I'll leave it to the next life.
You know when people shave to go bald completely, they go, you know what, I'm going to give up on the
Yeah.
hair. I'm
Yeah.
gonna- Why don't people go, like, kind of think, you know what, I think I really suit a William Hague. I'll just shave just the sort of big kind
Yeah,
of...
people who've got a full head of hair.
yeah, but just shave a receding hairline, like a big old receding hairline,
Yeah.
right to the crown.
Yeah, see that what you've hit on there though is the fact when people say actually bald looks pretty good, the fact that no one who's got hair makes themselves look bald
This is true.
probably is a giveaway.
But you see, the frontispiece is the issue, because that's when you end up in all sorts of Travolta-type trouble, I think.
What's he done? What's his method?
What's he
Has he
done?
got
Let's
a-
not go down that road.
No.
Let's not go down that road.
I have no idea what made your hair fall out. Takes us back to William Hague, I think. So,
I think it's a toupee, but it starts... I may be wrong, obviously. This may all be his own hair.
yeah.
But I think the toupee starts quite far back, and he's over trimmed it, and it looks obviously like a toupe.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, John.
Anyway,
You know Justin Bieber's been giving out advice about all of this?
No, he's been very disrespectful.
He has been disrespectful. An 18-year-old...
Oh, yes. What was he saying again about...
He gave advice to one of our possible future monarchs.
Yeah, telling
Yeah.
him he needs to do something about his hair.
Well, I'll tell you what he said. He just said, I don't know why he doesn't just get those things, those products, Propecia. I like that he said,
To be fair,
have you not got it over there? Have you not got it over there?
To be fair to Justin, it's in his intention to heal. He's trying to help, isn't he, Prince William? He's thinking, he obviously doesn't know you can put stuff on that makes
Yeah, but
you
no
look
one
less
wants
hot.
advice from an 18-year-old. Least of all, Justin Bieber.
No.
My advice to William is just wear the crown all the time. Who's going to know? There used to be a toupee called a crown topper, and he could actually have a crown topper.
He should do, those sort of those Scottish hats with the ginger coming out the side. He should get a crown, but with hair just sticking out the top.
That's a brilliant idea.
And when he takes it off, it's still got the hair in the crown.
That's my advice to Duncan, is get a bandana with a bit of hair woven into the cloth.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Holly Walsh. You can text us on 81215 and...
I like it.
So anyway,
you sound surprised that it's Frank Skinner.
I'm still surprised by it. You get to my age, every day is a surprise.
So you went Olympics, and you went off...
I went Olympics.
What else did you do?
I went music gig.
Oh, okay, music gig.
I went to music gig, actually, this week.
Which ones?
I saw...
Simply Red. You love them.
I didn't see Simply Red. I saw... Pink was a support act. The whole show was graded.
Maroon 5.
King Crimson, they closed the night. Ruby Turner was on.
Oh, lovely.
No, I went to see... I went to see Laurie Anderson, who I'm a very big fan of. You know Laurie Anderson? Oh, Superman. You know that? It's brilliant. I recommend
quite
it.
long.
I think it's something like 6.5 minutes, and it got to number 1. Can you believe that?
Sounded like the CD got stuck.
You Philistine. Is that your name? Phyllis Stein? Hey? Are you Phyllis Stein?
I only just got that.
Yeah. Thanks. Now, I went to see... She was great, although she did give me the... she talked about... when sometimes you see things moving on your eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that you see stuff moving
Oh,
about?
yeah.
Like orbs.
She said they're phosphates, is how she described them.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
like that.
correct. But I had, occasionally, Holly, I have quite severe mosquito problems in my bedroom, and I had them this week. Bitten to pieces. Look at that.
Frank, I've had one. I've got one on my upper cheek. Look.
Yeah. Oh, have you had one?
Yes.
I'm
that's
covered.
facial one.
Look at those bites.
Frank, what is it about our skin?
I think it's something to do with hormones.
Frank and I have got a lot of...
Do you think
with a lot of
they hear them?
hormones. Huh?
They hear the hormones and they come in. Oh, Mum and Dad. So anyway, I could see, I think it was the phosphates. Once you've been bitten...
Holly's climbing on her chair.
Yeah, can you sit properly? I was trying to catch this mosquito, and I think the phosphates were moving about my eyes, and I was swinging at things that were actually on my eyeball.
Oh.
Could have been nasty. Anyway, that's enough. I went to see Elizabeth Fraser on Monday night. Now, that's what I thought.
Who dat?
She's off the Cocteau Twins, right?
Yeah, but Kat said to me, Elizabeth Fraser is playing live. Elizabeth Fraser! And I said, that's brilliant. And I have to admit, I didn't. I mean, I've heard of the Cocteau Twins, but I didn't know.
She sounds like a sort of Archer's character or something.
Yes,
no idea.
I've been to her house.
Oh.
But I haven't. So I went to this gig, and first of all, so I didn't know what to expect. But it's great going to a gig blind like that when you don't know what it's going to be. Kath was mad about the Cocteau Twins. I was drunk during their golden years, so I don't remember much about them. But anyway, when we got there, they started off with these 4 people came on, all dressed in black with music stands, and sang one of these, like a religious 4-part harmony a cappella thing. And I've been bored before. But you know when people say bored to tears, yeah. I thought that was just... I honestly was starting to get tears in my eyes. I was so bored. I thought I was going to throw up and wet myself. I was in a panic. I was bored into a panic.
Oh, Frank.
And it was
that was like me when I watched The Goonies.
It was honestly, it was terrifying. And I thought, please stop. And I could see, the trouble with them being like a classical, they kept turning pages. And every time they turned pages, I thought, oh, I'm really looking for a blank, at least half a blank one. And it was just sheet music, if I'm allowed to say that. My pronunciation was a bit... so it was the worst start to a gig I've ever had in my life. I would have happily stood up with an axe and
Frank,
made these people look like, as I think they once said in a Monty Python, but look like 5 tins of cat food.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, lovely.
What?
I'm just watching the men's diving.
Don't watch the diving.
Difficulty 3.7. Of course I'm going to watch that. That's lovely. We're all watching it now. It's very distracting.
I think it's a bit disrespectful to our listeners that if we just watch the telly.
Terrible
mid-show.
Terrible entrance.
So stop it. I was telling them about a gig I went to.
Elizabeth Fraser.
Yeah, so anyway, Elizabeth Fraser came on. I honestly...
Oh, I've just got House of. Sorry, Frank.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. The quartet had gone. I'm not... but are you aware of the level of boredom I'm talking about when you become outraged?
Have you had it, Holly?
Yeah, I had it during a ballet quite recently.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a lot. That can be a long night about it.
Because as a comedian, you end up thinking, what can I say that's funny about this? And there's nothing even funny about it.
Well, as a comedian, I think I wouldn't... When you go on stage, you have an obligation to entertain people. And if you don't, you're a comedian, you know about it. These people seemed oblivious. I mean, I'm sure they were brilliant at it, and they seemed nice, and it was great for, 2 minutes.
How long was it on for?
About, I think it was either 2 or 3 months. I can't quite remember, but they were winter months.
Yeah.
And we had to stay in a lot and eat fatty food. But it was, oh man, I just thought, I didn't come for this. Stop doing this.
And
Stop
you thought this is going to be the whole night of this?
Well, then, of course, anyway, she comes on, Elizabeth, and she's got, an amazingly beautiful voice, and was brilliant. The band, though, you see, I'd go for a trophy band. I'm one of
sort of Robert Palmer style.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You want a band that looks like, you're hanging around with cool dudes. She had the sort of men who, if you don't watch them, will put a press in their jeans.
Oh, they dry clean their jeans.
Yeah, exactly.
I know those ones.
You could see that light grey line you get down the front of jeans that are pressed on a regular basis.
I know them.
And again, there was a lot that thing that we were talking about slightly balding at the front, which makes me very anxious. If someone's had to arrange their hair, then I'm sitting like...
What sort of footwear are we talking, Frank? A Karamak shoe?
Well, I think... I could be wrong, I don't want to do this bloke wrong, but I think that the bass player, who I'd say was probably in his mid-40s...
I'm getting the picture.
He had a boot flare on.
He didn't. He did.
When a man
in a boot cut.
When a man wears a boot cut, I'm thinking there's a cowboy boot under there. And he looked like a man who didn't say, I'll put my cowboy boots on. He looked like a man who said, which cowboy boots shall I wear tonight? That's the kind of man he looked.
Oh, Frank. Well, I never.
But it was. Cut. The music was brilliant, and she was brilliant. But it was. And Thingy was there. You know Anthony from Anthony and the Johnsons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You treated me so badly.
You're attracting mosquitoes now.
Yeah, that's to repel them.
No, that was actually Morris Gibb.
I actually love Anthony from Anthony and the Johnsons.
Do you?
Yeah.
You can't even say it, Johnsons. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about someone else. I'm talking about Anthony from Anthony and the Johnsons.
I like them, but he sings in a deep baritone voice. You treated me. He looks... I'm slightly frightened of Anthony.
Oh, he's terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Why? Why are you scared of him?
He's gone for a very black hair, very white face.
Very worrying
What's wrong
fringe.
With
worrying fringe.
I don't like that. It's
you know what he is a bit? Can I be honest what he is, Solly? He's a bit goth nana. You get them in America, those nans who are a bit goth.
Yeah, I think you're right.
With the dyed black hair and the tattoos on the slightly crepey skin.
I think you're right.
Crepey skin?
I went to see him live once.
Who? Anthony and the
I saw him live.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought, is he doing this song again?
What's his hair like now, Frank?
Black, and I'd say, unlike Spandau Ballet, it's unkempt.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
And the girls are giggling.
We're being naughty.
Yeah, now, if I had this conversation about women in the Olympics, it would be seen as sexist, but you can talk about the men in the Olympics as if they're hunks of gristle.
Well, if you will put the men's 10-metre platform diving on, what do you expect?
Well, I'm happy for it to be switched off. I mean, get some.
No, don't turn it off!
There are bigger pants on the market.
Just because they're not wearing Calvin Classics.
Yeah, well, the trouble is with Calvin Classics, when you come out, the waistband would still be in the water. The waistband to pant attaching is very...
Frank,
very,
they've come
very
clean
weak.
off, those classics, with that impact.
When I was
Mine wouldn't come clean anyway.
when I was a kid, I jumped off a 10-metre high diving board. And
I was wondering about that.
and I
Let me
had-
guess, there was no water in the pool.
Ouch. That's the meanest thing anyone's ever said to me on national
it's
radio.
actually the-
Stick around, honey.
It sounded the second
What do you mean?
meanest thing.
Why would I jump in the pool and then all the water jumped out? I'm
Did I say all the water jumped out? I said
You
there
said
was
there
no
was
water in the pool. See, what you've done in your paranoia, you've placed something on me I didn't say. You make me sick. So what happened?
So I
Holly?
jumped in the pool and I had a huge nosebleed and they had to shut the pool.
Oh. Well, why people wee in the pool? Rebecca Adlington wees in the pool. She admitted on Johnny
Phelpsy. Phelpsy does.
Yeah.
Lochte.
Lochte.
So,
Phelpsy.
you know, blood, who cares?
Holly and I both like Lochte. Anyway, meanwhile, over at the Elizabeth Fraser gig,
Oh, yeah, I tell
where it's
you
all
what.
happening...
It was quite a middle-class night, and people were calling out things like, "Song to the siren, do song to the siren."
Oh, God!
Which is, do you know that? It's
No, I don't know that.
I don't know who wrote it, but Tim Botley sang it. Tim Botley was a bloke who had a song called Dolphins, who I used to change the words all the time when I was a young man. It goes, "Sometimes I think about Saturday's child," and I used to sing, "Sometimes I drink about 10 pints of mild." But nobody drinks mild anymore, so I had to stop that. I think it's gone. I don't know if it still exists. Anyway, people were calling out. Now, and I remembered that when I used to go to gigs in my teens, there was two things that people always called out at every gig, regardless of the gig. You'd either call...
Wake up!
You'd go, "Wally!"
Why did you say that?
I've no idea.
Oh.
"Wally!" Or Albatross.
Oh.
Which I think was from...
Was it a Coleridge gig?
Or Albatross.
He was reciting poetry.
It was from a Monty Python sketch where I think a man sells albatross instead of ice cream.
Oh.
But Wally, I don't know where that came from. One of our listeners will know, because it's just
they'll know.
It's about the right
Birmingham will know, Frank.
When I went to the men's quarterfinals of table tennis, one of the Romanian players, I can't remember his surname, but his first name was Adrian, and everybody in the audience started shouting out, "Adrian!
Yo! I did it for you!
Adrian!" like that, and he clearly didn't get it, but everyone was laughing at him.
That was fair.
Adrian!
That was fair. That's a bit
Does Adrian
late,
Charles get that at the football? He should do.
No, he just gets potato face, if I remember rightly.
Frank.
Ouch.
I know, it's on
You
point.
really aren't holding back on the...
On the what? On the carbohydrate-based insults. If that's what you're getting at. Oh, I'm all right with... I don't mind a bit of starch in my acid, if you know what I'm saying.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Well, now, I'll tell you what I want to talk about, Frank, is there was a bit of an incident on a plane this week, and you know how I love a plane-based incident.
You do.
This was a bit babes on a plane.
Oh, I saw
Did
this.
you see this? It was a Vietnamese airline, and they decided they were going to allow this sort of impromptu beauty pageant, beauty parade, and it was lots of scantily clad lovelies.
They had...
Would you describe them as? Did you see the
they
pictures?
had bikini tops on, but I saw the viral. What about that? And then they had
Because
sarong.
men were filming it,
But
should
they had
say.
sarongs on. They didn't just have the
They had
pants
sarongs,
on.
but they were
What's
quite...
wrong about that?
Well, hey, two sarongs don't make a right. But,
That's all right.
yeah, but they weren't... they weren't, like, just in bikinis.
No, but there was a lot of la-la exposure, let's say.
I beg your pardon? I don't want to sound like a male chauvinist pig. and I'm all right with the women's libbers, in case you're wondering. But I think they don't do enough on planes to sort of in-flight. It's just films, really, and games, and a magazine. I like the idea of having some live stuff on.
I quite liked it. And I was embarrassed to admit that I'm proud to call myself a feminist, and I know it's a bit dehumanising and objectifying.
No, it's all right being a feminist.
I found it very entertaining, that beauty parade.
Well, I like beauty contests in general.
So do I.
In our house, when I was a kid, it used to be quite a big deal, Miss World. We'd all sit around and do our own scorecards.
And also, I love a sash. Frank, I love a sash.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like Olympics for very good-looking people, is what I think.
It is, yeah. It's all changed, of course. The old... Holly's gone quiet, hasn't she?
I just don't really know what to make of this. So you like going to see ladies being judged for how beautiful?
No, I don't like going to see them. I won't move. I just watch it on my telly.
Right. I don't even know didn't even know they get televised, Miss World and whatnot anymore.
Oh yeah, it's still on the satellite channel.
Yeah, it's still on the satellite.
Yeah. What do you think Julia Morley's doing?
Who's Julia Morley?
I don't think it should...
Who's Julia Morley?
Eric Morley. I don't think it should just be women. I think there should be men as well.
You don't really... Now you're trying to claw it back. But, if it was men, it'd be a bit tedious.
It wouldn't be tedious for us.
It would be man, oh man, is what it would be.
No,
I love that show.
You get Miss World, and they're judged on being beautiful. But Mr. Universe is a man judged on being strong, who can pick up a car and whatnot.
Yeah, so what they are, they're two different competitions.
Yeah, but why should Mr. Universe... No, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, why should the World Cup have football when the Test match has cricket?
Yeah, but why can't you have Miss Universe and see someone, like a really beautiful woman pick up a car?
But there is women...
There's Jodie Marsh.
Well, they don't have Mr. World.
No, I'm not happy with this argument. Do you want to have a sit and think again?
No.
Okay. A beauty contest, people are being judged on their beauty. That's why it's called the beauty contest. They don't have to enter it. All right?
But how,
And also, I love a bikini court shoes combination. It's so wrong. Everything about the bikini.
So wrong.
Everything about the bikini says sort of flip-flops.
A swimsuit with a heel, Frank.
Maybe an espadrille. But it's like me going to the swimming pool in me Speedos and a pair of black patent dress lace-up shoes. Make any sense at all.
So you would happily go on a plane with naked women?
Hold on, that's a completely different... These women had bikini tops and sarongs. The people didn't know they were coming. Anyway, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, isn't it? Beauty contest must be sexist. I think, you got to allow yourself to think about it and think, well, actually, easy. If it was like a juggling contest that was just women, you wouldn't say, they're just being seen as jugglers.
But would you be upset if people said, I only go and see Frank Skinner's show because he's really hot and not because he's very funny?
He'd love it.
God, that'd be fun. Well, I don't like the last bit much. Come to think of it. If I was doing the Frank Skinner beauty show, I'd be all right with it.
Yeah, but Frank, also, why can't they do material? They have an opportunity in that little interview, have some gags.
Yeah, well, they do. They talk about how they do a lot of work for charity, often they're doing a degree in law, and they care about the third world. They seem like very nice people, generally. Very sort of interested in things.
Would you ever go and judge one if someone asked you if you wanted to be a judge?
Oh, I don't know. That might be a bit more... Cause I think in the old days, British comedians used to go and do seaside beauty pageants in order to pick up a bit of spare.
They'd get together with them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and I don't want to get involved in any of that. Those days are gone for me.
That's how... Well, Bruce Forsyth met Will Neelia that way.
Well, I'm not saying that was why you went.
I am.
Oh. Okay, well... I wonder if he said nice to see you as a chat-up line. To see you nice. And she said, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got to go take my heels off.
Yeah, I'm in the beauty bee's knees. That's what she said. I like the idea of entertainment on a plane. Don't you often walk on a plane and look down the aisle and think, oh, God, this place is crying out for Skittles? What you just sit there for hours and hours. They should do more, and I like that aspect.
Did you ever stand up and do material? If that was my job, I'd think I'd do that. You've got a trapped audience there, surely.
I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if something goes wrong and you're a policeman or a doctor, you're obliged to step in at that moment as a professional doctor and help someone. But as a, like, you notice people are bored around you as a comedian, you don't get any sort of,
If it's a bit gloomy.
I'm going to have to say something now. This is my obligation as a comedian.
If the plane was going down, you could get up and say, look, I know this seems on the face of it like a tragedy, but you know what I mean? They can't stop us from having a laugh, can they? And then do a little bit of...
like what Cliff Richard does when, the roof, it started raining at Wimbledon. He used his obligation as a singer to entertain the crowds.
People hated it.
Yeah.
But you'd have to brace the back leg, because obviously the plane would be at something of an angle as it headed down towards the ocean.
I promise you that still wouldn't be the worst gig I've ever done.
No.
Did you,
exactly.
Frank, did you entertain the crowds at all, by the way, at the Olympics?
Well,
I heard a rumour you did.
I've done gigs that I wished were on a crashing plane. Did I entertain people? I sang.
Yes, I heard you did.
What
You
did
haven't
you sing?
mentioned
Well, I
this.
sang Hey Jude, obviously. They thought I was Paul McCartney, so I
Did everyone sing along, Frank?
I gave them a bit.
Frank, you've done a Cliff Richard and you didn't tell us this.
No, I forgot about that completely. Paul McCartney happens to him all the time. Does whole gigs.
Were you sitting next to a woman that someone could have confused as your daughter?
I usually am.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Thank
What
you.
we're talking about, can men be...
Oh, yeah.
Friends with women.
Well, no, because there was a survey, did you, saying
The
that...
survey said that men can't be friends with
Our
women.
survey said, it said that apparently... Well, no, what it said is that men are far more likely to harbour an attraction to their female friends than women are. Women
I can't look you in the eye. I cannot look you in the eye.
Well, it's funny because I would say, Frank, we have a genuinely platonic friendship. There's never been any hint of doctors and nurses.
My heart is breaking inside.
But isn't that nice? I think we disprove this rule.
I think we do.
How long have you been friends for, though?
Since
What, you're trying to work out whether it was before or after my sex drive disintegrated?
I'll tell you exactly when it was. Work out when Three Lions became a hit, and that's when I became friends with
Wow,
him.
you're a glory hunter.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Yes,
About 96, funnily enough.
I was gold rather than bronze at that stage.
Since about 1996 we've been friends.
But I mean, you've been safe since then because
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
George Melly said, once your sex drive goes, it's like getting off a runaway horse.
Yeah.
Fantastic sense of relief. But I tell you what, I've been lucky with the even women who I think, God, she's nice.
Yeah.
There was a woman I met a few weeks ago, and I thought, God, she's very sexy woman. And she said to me, my grandkids are coming over this weekend. And I thought that I'm quite pleased with that. Is that my taste has grown as I have. So by the time I'm 70,
Yeah, if she was saying my grandma's coming over this weekend, then you'd be worried.
yeah, that would have been very bad indeed. But I think her grandma is very, very much part of the world of spirits.
I often
Derek
think the
Okora would say.
responsibility is on the lady in the friendship sometimes. Yes, I do.
What, you assume that all men fancy you, and
Pretty
that you
much,
want
yeah.
to...
No, I think a lot of men can be filthy creeps, though. They can't help themselves. I'm sorry, but that's the way of the world.
Yes. Well, you're safe with me.
I know, darling.
I could
That's
take
why I adore
Kristen
you.
Stewart on holiday with me, and our Pat could still sleep easy. That's the kind of character I am.
Oh.
But why are they called the opposite sex?
Oh.
I guess it's positives and negatives.
Opposite sex, though, already sort of accepts the fact that there's some sort of war going on, doesn't it?
Oh,
Why
no,
not
'cause
call-
it's not called the rival set.
But the opposite to what?
The other one.
But they're not opposite.
We've cleared that up then.
You're not opposite, are you?
I am opposite you now.
Oh, you are actually. Come to think of it, that's what they meant. They meant the opposite sex if you're working in like a two-sided desk.
Do you know how I think this can be best summed up? I want a male comic who shall remain nameless and was a friend of mine. He once said to me, he invited me back to his.
Oh.
And no, I said no. And he said, why won't you come back to mine? And I said, because you always look really happy to see me and I want to keep it that way. And he went, oh yeah, you're right. He didn't deny it.
You promised me you would never tell that story on radio, and you come up with a male comic. I mean, for goodness
I'll
sake.
tell you who it was afterwards.
Well, I'm having a couple of weeks off.
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm home alone.
I only decided about halfway through this show. I thought I'm rubbish at the moment. I need a rest. So so I'm away, and next week Mary Bale is presenting the show. It was the woman who put the cat in the wheelie bin.
Oh, I look forward to it.
I think everyone's entitled to a second chance in life. So Mary will be and
lock up your bins.
yeah, Emily will be here, of course. and the cat from Shrek, you see. Looking more mournful than usual, I should think, in that situation. Holly, thanks a lot. It's lovely to see you, as ever. And I once speculated on this show that I'd bought Holly a book, and I never heard from her that she must have hated it, but it turned out she liked it.
Oh,
I emailed you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I never got it.
Well, I did.
That one I emailed you. You know that?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so our book club is recommending the 3 Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch by Philip K. Dick for this week's read. That's about it from us. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again next week. I won't. I'm on holiday. What am I talking about? I don't care if the creeks rise. Let it all come. Goodbye.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.